Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump and today I'll be ranking all of the Pikachu clones from worst to best. Now, as of last week, we got the trailer or a teaser for Generation 10 for Pokemon that being Water and Wind. Or I think that's what they're called, Wind and Water for Generation 10 of Pokemon. And obviously we've seen the starters, but also there's going to be a whole bunch of new Pokemon, and obviously probably a Pikachu clone. So for this video, I'm going to be ranking all the Pikachu clones that we've seen so far from like generations like 2 onwards. But when it comes to this list, I do have an exception. I won't be not introducing. I won't be having Pichu on this list, so because it's basically a baby Pikachu and it's part of the Pikachu line, so I kind of don't count Pichu as a Pikachu clone since it's already a Pikachu or part of Pikachu in a sort of sense. I hope that makes sense to you, but yeah. So this video is just going to be me ranking all the Pikachu clones we've seen from my least favorite to my favorite. So for number 7 is Plusle and Minun. Now, these two Pokemon kind of come hand in hand because they're just for like double battles and stuff like that. And out of all of the other Pikachu clones, I feel like Plusle and Minun have the most basic designs because they're basically just. I think the designs are interesting. They're both. You've got one that's blue, one that's red when it comes to their color schemes, and you've got like I think Minun has the minus on its cheeks, and then Plusle will have the plus signs on its cheeks, and I think that's the only thing that's interesting to them besides their color schemes because it makes them different and you can tell which one's which. But as a whole, I think Plusle and Minun are really boring Pokemon when it comes to not only just boring Pokemon, but really boring Pikachu clones. For number 6 is Pachirisu. Now, Pachirisu, I would say is slightly better than Plusle and Minun because it's basically this little squirrel Pokemon, and also there was that whole thing, I think 10-ish years ago or so. I'm not 100% sure, but I was like, around 10 years ago, maybe more, there was someone who brought in or was doing this world tournament thing, and they brought in a Pachirisu, and they went on to win that particular world tournament with a particular Pachirisu on their team. And I think that's really cool, and I think that's why Pachirisu is that's one of the reasons why Pachirisu is slightly better than Plusle and Minun. But I think its design is basically a squirrel with electric powers. But yeah, it has some. It looks cool, but I think when compared to some of the other Pokemon or the other Pikachu clones on this list, Pachirisu is still down there, but I still think it's like an interesting design as a whole. So yeah. For number 5 is Togedemaru. Now Togedemaru, from this point onwards, the Pikachu clones start getting somewhat interesting because this is when all the Pikachu clones started having secondary types, and I think that's really cool. I think that's what a lot of Pikachu clones should have. They should have a secondary type to their main electric types, because if it was just plain electric, I think that will make them a bit boring because it's just we've just got an electric squirrel and stuff like that, or we've just got 2 small mouses and that's pretty much it. But with Togedemaru, it's not only an electric type, but also the steel type, and that's quite cool because it's got these spikes on its back, and it's basically it looks like a hedgehog. Would you think it's quite cool? And it looks quite adorable, and yeah, it looks really cool, and it's just one of those Pokemon that looks cute. I think a lot of the Pikachu clones look cute and stuff like that because they're clones or designed or off-brand Pikachus. But yeah, Togedemaru is a really cool looking Pokemon, but I think when compared to some of the other ones on this list, it's okay, but I think it still has a really cool design, and I think its typing really suits it. So yeah. For number 4 is the Pawmot line. Now, Pawmot is the most recent Pikachu clones, so that's because the Pawmot and its evolutionary lines, like its pre-evolved forms, are in Scarlet and Violet. And the Pawmot line is quite cool because you've got the first form. I think it's Pawma or Pawmo. I forgot the name of its very first form, but I think it's Pawma. And then you've got a secondary form, and then you've got Pawmot. And yeah, I think it's really cool in terms of like it starts off as an electric type, then it becomes an electric fighting, and then it becomes Pawmot when you like have to like do like walk 1,000 times, and then it evolves at like level 38 or not. Well, not, I think 30 or something. I don't 100% remember. I think it does evolve at a particular level, but it's done after like you walk 1,000 times or something like that with with the secondary form out with you as a partner. And yeah, I think it's really cool that it's getting the fighting type because it makes it a lot cooler than just being a plain electric. Again, same with like Tokyo Mario and some of the other ones that I was talking about in this list. A Pikachu clone that has a secondary type makes it more interesting than it just being plain electric. And I think it'd be really cool to see like more Pikachu clones have a secondary type. And I think the fighting type for the Pawmot line, well, from secondary form onwards to Pawmot, is really interesting. And I think it really just does suit it well. So yeah. For number 3 is Dedenne. Now, Dedenne I think is a really cool Pokemon. And would you believe me if I said that Dedenne is part Fairy type? And I think that's really cool. And like I think that's really funny as well as being really cool because like wherever I'm putting Pawmot and Dedenne, I'll probably put Dedenne here on screen right now, and it looks nothing like a Fairy type, even though it is, because I think it's if you're new to Pokemon, it'll be very surprising if you found out that Dedenne is a Fairy type, and I think that's what I do like about Dedenne, tongue twister, that one. It's because it's part Fairy type. I think it's like this small little mouse Pokemon, and I think it's really cool of how it's designed. I do like the whiskers, the tail. It's got like this very long tail, which I do like. And I think it's really cool. And I think it's just like this very small Pokemon that you might want to have as a pet, and yeah, it looks really cool. For number 2 is Emolga. Now, Emolga is basically a flying squirrel Pokemon, and I think that would help the design be distinct from a lot of the other Pikachu clones, because with Pokemon like, let's say, Pachirisu, or even the Pawmot line, they've got like, their own distinct uniqueness to them, but like they a lot of them still look like mice and stuff like that. But with Emolga, it's basically a flying squirrel, and that's really cool. And I do like its like sort of like cape wing thing it's got, and yeah, it looks. I think that it's design wise, it looks quite cool. I think it's got like a really cool like design. I think what makes it. I think it's also got that sort of cute factor, which a lot of Pikachu clones and even Pikachu itself has, and that is cuteness. And I think that's due to like its face, like it's really like cute and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just a really cool design. And I said before, I do like its cape thing, which gives it its flying type, and yeah, and also it nullifies its weakness, being weakness to ground, so it's only weak to rock and ice types. And for number 1 is Morpeko. Now, this particular Pokemon, I'd say, is the most interesting Pikachu clone out of all of the Pikachu clones we've seen so far, and probably will ever see, because it's the only Pikachu clone to change its form. And I also like its design or its typing of being electric dark. And what I mean about it changing its form is that I think every few turns or so, Morpeko will changed form to a more hangry version, and I think that's due to its ability, which is quite cool. And so it goes from like sort of like colourful yellow and sort of like brown design to a more, when it comes to its hangry form, into a more dark purple, and its eyes change colour, which is quite cool. You can see that it means business. But this ability only lasts, I believe, or happens every few turns or something like that. And even though it's like, I think there's a bit of a downgrade for the ability for more Pico, I still think it's, as a Pokemon as a whole, is the most interesting one out of the Pikachu clones, mainly due to its ability. And again, its design, it looks I would say the closest to Pikachu, if we exclude Pichu, Raichu, and that Pokemon in Sun and Moon that has that Pikachu costume on. I don't remember the name of the Pokemon. I'll probably put an image on screen of it so you know what I'm talking about. But out of all the Pikachu clones, Morpeko is probably the closest design close to Pikachu when it comes to Pikachu clones. And yeah, and it's a really cool Pokemon design, and I think its electric dark typing does really help it, especially when it comes to its abilities. So yeah, so that's been me ranking all of the Pikachu clones from worst to best. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.